Joining us now to expand on Biden's first trip north of the border is political science professor Alistair Edgar from Wilfrid Laurier University. Alistair, in his introduction to President Biden in the House of Commons, Trudeau called him a true friend to Canada. What do you make of the current relationship between Canada and the U.S.?
Well, it's an improvement on what came before in terms of congeniality and lack of disruption. I mean, it's what I would normally assume is the status of Canada-U.S. relations. There have been hiccups in the past. There have been, bitter disputes between some presidents and prime ministers. But the period before Biden, in some ways, was quite unique in the level of sort of childish animosity that was expressed, at least in public at times. So it's nice to return to some level of maturity and decency in that relationship.
And you're talking about former President Donald Trump and Trudeau's relationship.
Indeed, I am. Yeah, that was rocky. I'm old enough that there have been bad ones before. Diefenbaker certainly did not have a good relationship. But yeah, that was a level of silliness that we haven't seen for a couple of decades, 2-3 decades.
How do you think the two countries can strengthen their partnerships?
Well, we can continue with some. Despite the rhetoric, some relationships, the defense relationship actually has been very strong for a long time. One of the topics of the meeting would be NORAD modernization and Canada-U.S. defense relations. Our economic ties have had ups and downs. We've gone from FTA to NAFTA to what we call USMACA or CUSMA, Canada, U.S., Mexico. But by and large, they've always been productive and relatively cooperative, sometimes disrupted by congressional relationships and that sort of thing. But at a broader level, generally very good.
Biden and Trudeau also announced an immigration deal this afternoon. Do you think this was something important for Biden's first visit to Canada, or could they have focused on something else?
I think it was it's an important topic inside of the United States with the increasing divisions between Republican and Democrat on legal and illegal, particularly, irregular migration. Certainly from the Canadian side, we've been seeing or reading about the disputes around the irregular migrants coming in south of Montreal. So this was a political issue in Canada as well. So I think it's a one that's a high priority political issue. There are other big issues like dealing with Ukraine, dealing with Russia, dealing with China. But on a bilateral level, then the migration issue was one that needed to be dealt with.
Thanks so much for joining us, Professor.
You're welcome, Kelly. Nice to talk to you.